One more, can I take one more? No? All right, thank y'all. Oh, wait.
Yeah, actually, a follow-up on the last question. Do you think it's wise to divide the discourse of sexuality and HIV apart from each other when addressing the needs of the Black community? Before I taught at the University of San Francisco, I taught at the University of Memphis. And Memphis is dead center to where a lot of stuff, the North Mississippi region, a lot of the stuff is spreading. And I suspect that one of the reasons that we're not getting headway amongst the so-called heterosexual community is because of the shame around HIV/AIDS and its deep association with homosexuality. And I worry that we won't be able to defeat that shame by separating HIV from homosexuality. Say more about that.
Yeah, I believe just that. In fact, what I quote are the statistics now that say where the huge expanse of numbers are in the African American community are amongst women who are over 50. All right, so I get at it right there. And these straight women, okay, that ought to hit a few of us. In my congregation, it hits a bunch of them. In my city, Hartford, Connecticut, as of first of the year, 67% of the new infection rates among women were women, straight women, over 50. All right, so then I ask the question, because I had to ask it of my mother. My mother, by the way, is getting married again. For her third marriage. Her and my daddy didn't do so well. And then she married a wonderful man who died a number of years ago. And she thought she was through, you know? And she done found love. So this spring, I'm going to marry my mother. Oh, I'm performing, I should say that. I'm presiding over the solemn rites of marriage with my mother and a wonderful man by the name of John, who I've known for almost all of my life, who's been a role model for me. And I didn't know that, well, I kind of knew they were sweet along the way. But I asked my mother, I said, Mama, you think about having sex? And of course, I'm her son, so she knows I'm gonna ask crazy stuff. I mean, do something crazy. I wear this kind of hair, you know. I don't look like a preacher. They tell me that all the time. And then I ask, what does a preacher look like? And then they go to, well, it ain't what you look like. So, but I asked her, because I'm determined to have the conversation, not just with you here, but to have the conversation for real in my family. I had a 70-year-old uncle who died of the disease in New York City. He was a gay man. All the family knew about it. We didn't talk about it. And when it came up, I finally knew, and when he passed, I then was able to put 2 and 2 and 2 together, and it came out 6. And I understood what he was trying to tell me and didn't tell me. All right? And I asked my mother, are you having sex? You think about having sex? I mean, I know you're not going to get married again, but what you do with it? And we had a candid conversation about it. Wonder how many of you can have a conversation candidly with your parents about sex. Just, I mean, for real, you know? Not just that you're doing it because they know you're not doing it. That's mama's baby, you know, not doing it. But, you know, about what it means. Yeah, over here.
Well, just, you kind of touched upon it a little bit, but how do you challenge the members of your congregation to really think about the issues of being Black and having to face the risk of HIV and AIDS, and just be conscious of all the risks that are involved in like debating or just trying to find their own sexuality and what it means to be okay with it, and how do you like take the steps to start that discourse in your own congregation?
Yeah, I have the privilege of serving in a denomination that has affirmed same-gender love for a long time. For some, we ordained our first clergy in this region in the United Church of Christ in 1972. In our most recent General Synod, we have the privilege of saying we support marriage equality in our General Synod. Now that's, the mucky muck say that? Now, how this fly on rank and file congregations, kind of like Catholics, we ask the question about, abstinence and condom use and, party line, right? And then the for real deal. Well, in much the same way. I have the privilege of serving in a denomination that has embraced it. Now, I'll tell you, for me, the quintessential, the center of this discourse is in my preaching. So I find a way to ask a question around some of these issues within the context of the story of the woman at the well. Jesus told her, you married? She says,
Yeah.
I was married, yeah. No, I ain't married right now though. And he said, you answered right, because you done had 5 husbands, and the one you going home to right now ain't your husband. Well, then I asked the question about what might have been in the sermon, what might have been the nature of the relationship she had with that man. All right? And what might have been the shame and or the stigma that she had in association with her relationship and the community. One thing we understand in that text in the gospel is that she had the power to go back to the city and say to the city, y'all need to come see a man who told all my business, right? And some of us would suggest that she was the first called evangelist of the New Testament church. All right, so I begin there, and it ain't an easy task. I'm suggesting that we risk and do this business in risky, this is not Kansas, or maybe it is Kansas. This is not easy conversation. But I tell you what, I'll end with this. I will end. I should. That the adage says what comes from the heart reaches the heart. I think if people understand your sincerity and they vibe with that sincerity, even mom,